So this is like answers to some questions on some people didn't have an issue with it with their laptops. I didn't have an issue on my laptop. I'd like to point out that the ASUS laptop that worked fine. It was updated and didn't give me any problems. The interesting factor is I guess the laptops have a BIOS where they store the key. Now there's no key on the outside of the case of the laptop like there used to be. Like with the ThinkPad, the Toshibas and all those laptops that I have as junk laptops technically. They all have keys, like sitting on the outside. This new Asus one doesn't. I can't think of what it is. But it installed with Home Edition perfectly fine. So, oh, we got a tripod today, so I don't have to hold it, even though the tripod isn't very stable. Yeah, the first thing I noticed is how the icons are kind of, I don't know if you can see the icons, they're all, these guys. When I started the video last time, they were all across the screen because they're all spaced out correctly. I have like a quick link to a, what's this called? Make use of page, okay? So it says how to change icon spacing. I just use the registry because it's not a third-party app. It's just, malware, spyware in a sense. And you just go to this registry key. You gotta run it as administrator, so you just like keep a quick link in the start menu pinned. Just run as administrator, get the UAC to appear, and there you got the registry to look exactly like that. So defaults are like 1125, and I believe I just had one like 1500. So just double click them, and they should make this little edit string. I'll just make negative 1500 because that's kind of where this needs to be the right size. And do that for both of them because that's both directions. So or just do this. So that'll fix that. When I restart it, they'll be all back in place. There's some other things I noticed with it. Like I was this always like this before? Like you see this little button right here. Was that always like that? I don't know. But I think when you used to move this up, it would make the screen all different things and show that square thing. Now, if you hover over that, you got these little zones to put stuff in. Kind of like what Linux has or Ubuntu desktop has, but I don't really need to use kind of stuff like that. If you had this much of a reason to do that, you would have more than one monitor. Like I say, there'd be a second monitor or third monitor on, there and there. Like 3 monitors instead of 1. Or maybe even 6 in some cases. So that's something different. The thing that I used to notice is like a notification. So when you go in here, so we go to that notification. I don't think that's what I'm looking for. It is what I'm looking for. Okay, so notifications, I generally, keep the suggestions off right here. This freaking setting right there. Suggested settings right here. Right? You should be able to see on the computer screen. Microsoft Store, keep off. Startup app notifications. Settings, I just leave that. The phone link, just to know the phone's connected correctly. The audio makes sense to me. Snipping tool is just like, when you hit screenshot, it will give you options to make a screenshot of this one section of the screen, which is kind of something I liked about Windows 11 since I got it. Because it does what the phone does, where if you take a screenshot, you can just take a small piece of it. Let's say like I do print screen. If I can see the keyboard, I think. Number lock. Pause break. Okay. You print the screen. It kind of does that thing. And then you can like select where you want. right? And then when you go into Paint, so I got a shortcut too. You just hit like, you know, paste, and I'll just put that part of the screen you just took a screenshot of. Kind of what the phone does. The thing about the phone is you can scroll down a whole web page and take the whole thing. I don't know if you can do that here. I didn't try. But you just get the general idea what that meant. So we also have additional settings right here, and we see show Windows welcome experience after updates. Let's say they get Copilot in there. Let's set up Copilot, or let's set up 365, or let's set up Meet. So with that, nope. Uncheck it. Suggest ways to get the most out of Windows and finish setting up this device. It's set up enough. Nope. Get tips and suggestions when using Windows. I generally don't need tips. So, just keep that stuff off, and whenever it restarts, it shouldn't say, oh, do you want to create a Microsoft account to finish setting up your computer? Hopefully it goes away. It might come back. Who knows? I don't know if this will come back in the next update. Or, you know, it doesn't turn off. So, like, yeah, we got all this stuff. Like, if we don't have a printer or scanner, you generally don't need to even have the in particular service on. The network seems to be working fine. Some people are saying like the network doesn't work. Like when you go to here, go to this thing, these are still on, those are still off, and this is still password protected. Now you can just have everything off. Generally you want everything off. If you have your own network in your house, you want the stuff on so you can file and print share all the files across the systems in your house. That's where the private network comes in. But you know, you can turn it on and turn it off, and then when you go to your network icon that I actually put on the screen, you have other places you can put it. You can put it here, or you can look through the file explorer to look at your network this way. Now it's not giving me like a disclaimer, I'm not connected to the network, so I'm guessing it's connected. There's no other system on at the moment. Generally this would show your file share on this system. It also would show printers, the router you're connected to. It's not showing that at the moment. So maybe it is broken. It's a second anyway. You know, I didn't really look at other things. We'll look at this. Device manager, where is that going to be? So we got here. So it looks like everything's working. I don't see a network adapter is there. That's all in there. Yeah, you can actually turn off a lot of this stuff. You can just turn off the whole WAN. Just don't even have Wi-Fi on. If you're not even using the Wi-Fi on your computer, there's no reason to have it on. So, having it all on is kind of just well, the Wi-Fi that hooks on a motherboard, I didn't even hook it up to it. And then we got a notification in the corner for something. It's a screenshot. It don't matter. So generally, this has been activated. It's still activated now. It still just shows this. I have a feeling if I, like the one guy in the one question, if I just left it, it didn't even care. Didn't even notice it was deactivated or not. Because I'm only here like one day of the week. It probably would have fixed itself. Like, you know, like they would just put an update K something, and it would have updated. But I don't know because I, you know, activated it again. You generally always look for updates every time you turn on the computer, but it should do that automatically anyway, even with this off. See, it's already doing something. It's security intelligence update for Defender. But nothing else. Yeah, as far as I know, is like It doesn't even show 24th up here. And somehow, like, this is 125 for that. So maybe, like, I put it on there right away. Did it make, like, a Windows folder? I'm wondering. It does. It does have the Windows old folder. So it's funny. You can roll it back. Like, so there's people that were on Reddit that rolled back to 23, which that's what this is about. You have this in there, and you can roll back with that. Or I can roll back with that. I don't need to. It doesn't seem like there's any issues. World of Warcraft or whatever. Battle.net, that was all working on the other system. I don't really play when I'm here because I watch YouTube videos on channels I like. So I didn't notice why it wouldn't work here because the system's much more powerful than the system at or in the HTPC. So it shouldn't have any issues there. So otherwise, yeah, it's fine. I'm not having any problems with like stuttering or lag or really anything. So what else is weird about this? Different. The thing I noticed is like this graph. This is the GPU graph. This seems to be more purplish. Before it was kind of lighter, less noticeable. The CPU, I guess it was like this, but maybe the black lines were so black, like they're actually darker, like all these little blocks in the grid. Like some people were saying that they changed this a little bit with an update when they were doing the Insider program. Like a lot of stuff, it just looks the same in other ways. But maybe like the graphs and stuff are darker. I just didn't really notice it until after doing that video last week. Yeah, so I don't really see anything else different. There's nothing different here. App history doesn't really matter. Processes. Yeah, generally the processes are, there's not that many. Theoretically, there's only 35. And then you got this run DLL thing. Firefox alone has 17 processes, which is interesting. This obviously has one. So there's a lot of COM surrogates. Windows Edge update, which I think is kind of like an automatic built-in virus to Windows. Yeah, Spooler subsystem is kind of useless at the moment. I don't have a printer connected to this. But yeah, I turn it off and also I get to try to get the printer working. And like, why isn't it working? Because it's off. The service is off. You turn the service off, you can't print. You gotta actually turn it on to print it all. Yeah, there's 94 actual Windows processes. What was this one? Background processes. Okay, well, that's so generally, like Windows, like is a lot of load on its own. I've never seen so many service hosts before in my life. But yeah, I got 32 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, what does it do with 64 gigabytes if I double it up? I was gonna double it up because like Black Friday specials, you know, get 64 gigs RAM. But I don't think I need that yet. We got performance again, details, services. Yeah, you can try to like tweak your services. I used to do that. Like, yeah, I would turn off the Wi-Fi things. I don't use Wi-Fi. There's a Wi-Fi service somewhere. Because if you're not using it, why turn it on? It's already stopped. It's not like it's running. Update service used to turn off too. There's just no reason to have it on. Every time it updates, like it will just sit there like trying to update or turn it off and restart it. So I was trying to run this 24 hours to run this little project, but the problem is like if I leave the computer locked, generally what that tells Windows is, oh, if I'm going to update, I can just restart when I want, and it just restarts and it's sitting there at the login screen for as long as it can until it just hibernates, and then I'm not doing anything. I just wasted my time. So if I don't lock it, it doesn't update automatically. But I just want the screen locked, so I don't know, whatever reasons. But yeah, if I restart it right now, it would, or I can probably just restart the thing. So where is that? If I look for it, Task Manager, Processes. So do we still have Windows Explorer? The problem is that it will reset Firefox. I don't really want that to do that. I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we'll just close that. Close this. Looks like I have to close. So my CPU is like 70%, so it's not cooking. But we'll just restart the system and see if these icons go where they're supposed to go. So yeah, it's just like basically 20 minutes of BSing about Windows 11 24H2 on my Tough Gaming motherboard. It's now a couple years old. And if this is 2005, it would already be upgraded to something else because of how cheap computers were back then. Today, you like can't even buy a video card without like a second mortgage in your house. So yeah, the thing that I noticed is this. It doesn't seem to turn the screen on sometimes. It was doing that last time. So I don't know why it doesn't want to restart. We just had that. Okay, so it's here. You see how far away from everything it is? This is at 1500. So they're nice and spaced. Now this is 1440p. No. What's the resolution? I don't really know. It's a new thing to me. 2560 by 1440. So the icons, they get smaller and smaller the bigger the resolution is. That's just how it has been. But if you make them bigger with accessibility, it just makes them too big or too far apart or whatever. It just sucks. It's already at 200%, or maybe it's just a zoom level. What's inverted colors mean? I don't know what that did. It didn't do anything. I don't think it did anything. There's also like high contrast mode that to me is ugly. So where's another display thing? Okay, so I don't know what that means, and let's look at it. Yeah, it's too red. So yeah, the monitor already has a color profile. HDR, I'm not even sure if that's useful. Scale is 100%. I don't have multiple displays to worry about. It doesn't seem to say any other thing about color and stuff, so I know that somewhere. It's here. Colors. Okay. So technically this is a custom blue ishness. I kind of liked how Windows 7 was like a dark blue, and it was kind of transparent when I look at it. This isn't transparent at all. It says transparency effects, but I don't know. Like when you open like a window, is it transparent? It don't look like it to me. And the thing about this is that you got dark mode and light mode. So light, dark. So dark mode is what a lot of people like, but I don't really like it because it's just too dark, you know. I kind of like it when one thing is dark. Like when you go to like Spotify is dark or media player is dark. I'd rather just like certain programs dark, not everything. Like when you open your windows, they're all dark. Yeah, I don't like that. I just don't really like it. There's custom. I'm not really sure what custom means. So there's app mode and Windows mode. It's not very custom. But I guess if you open like an app, let's say it's like Paint. So the Paint is an app. Put this in dark mode. The app is dark, just like this is, but everything else is still light. Which is more tolerable, actually, but I just don't really like the settings being dark. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave that light. Language. I don't even use that stuff. So, if I had an Xbox Live account, I guess I could use the game bar. I haven't used my Xbox Live account since 2010. When was Red Dead Redemption out? Yeah, that's the last time I actually used Xbox. And when I was using Xbox, I was just, you know, playing Doom on it and getting achievements. I wasn't really caring about the actual games. Like Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out, and there was like, you know, Black Ops, and there might have been some other thing that I downloaded or I installed, but then I just traded someone it for something because I don't use it. I didn't use it at all. I'm not really sure what else like they changed on this thing. I'm trying to think. It supposedly just made pseudo work. Okay, so if we go into this. Well, put it this way, the pseudo work in the sense that if I said, just go into command prompt without being an administrator, just click it. So if I go sudo NVIDIA/SMI, it still doesn't work. Oh, you gotta turn on. Okay, so there, developer settings and system. So you gotta turn developer mode to even have sudo work. Turn on remote diagnostics. Device discovery. Doesn't sound very secure. I guess you would use that if you were hooked to a router or something that's USB, or I don't know, the printer. Maybe the printer will work automatically. I'm not sure. Choose the default terminal app to host command line apps. Okay. Okay, well, it's kind of sound like it's probably not worth using on Windows. But it's in there, so there is sudo. So this in particular copy is an OEM copy I got from Newegg. It was a CD or DVD. And the video where I show installing on the 2022, 2023, 2024 system, I'm installing that CD. The other system, I kind of used the CD to install Windows, and then I put a new key in for it to run off of, because it wouldn't work with both keys, or both systems in the same key. Otherwise, it doesn't seem like any of this stuff changed. So backgrounds, there's just the same few to work with. That was always like a issue with Windows. It didn't give me much of a background since, you know, XP had lots of backgrounds. Windows 98 SE had many backgrounds, especially if you had like a Gateway or Dell or something. You would have like extra backgrounds, or even like, you know, a Dell background. The ASUS laptop, that actually has an ASUS background, which is kind of nice. I just picked this like sun fan because it's kind of similar to my Linux background. Like it's a lake. For Ubuntu 22, there was a lake as a default background, versus like it was a jam and jellyfish, that version. The new version is just like, I don't know what, I forget what it is. It's not a jellyfish. It's a tiger, I think, or something. Like a cat. Or one of the expansions was a cat. I call them expansions because I kind of feel like game expansions the way they are. I'm probably gonna make a video of installing 2404, a fresh install. So if you want to see that, I'll put that up soon. I'm kind of like, this is like a late night video for me. Anyway, yeah, I don't really have any issues with the Windows 11 situation. I mean, I'm not having any problems. It didn't deactivate again or anything. If you go to your account and look at it, manage my account, it doesn't give you a disclaimer of Microsoft account or anything anymore at the moment. Meaning it might show it next time. But I don't know. There's lots of things I just don't use. They added like BitLocker, which I don't even know where it is at the moment. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen this. It's kind of like a different thing I didn't notice before. Maybe this wasn't there. I don't know. It's looking for items to clean. Yeah, we don't want it to automatically free up space. The reason to not do that is because, say you have stuff you put in the desktop like this, it would probably just say, hey, can you delete these files because they're just sitting there. And you say, oh, okay. And it just deletes everything, and you're complaining about, oh, my files got deleted in the last update. It's basically, when you update, it just does that automatically, if you have it on especially. Over 5 gigabytes of storage. Yeah, so I leave that in there until it automatically cleans itself out. So that was the Windows old. When I first installed it, there was a Windows old then. So this is probably 23H2. When it was Windows old when I first installed in January last year, it's probably Windows old for 22. So yeah, and you got like stuff like this. Yeah, it's been there since like I installed it. So after 1 year, the system's fine. There's a lot of people that dislike the other video for whatever reasons. I don't have any answers as far as like why it deactivates the system. But what I can say is that it's an OEM copy I used. I built the system myself, as in I assembled the system, installed Windows on it on my own. And I'm not using a Microsoft account. And I'd like to point out that that could be the reason why it deactivates, but it doesn't deactivate on everybody. Well, anyway, yeah, I think this is working fine. The icons are back to where they were. This is brighter. Everything's working. It's been working fine. I'm not complaining about 24. I'm not going to complain until they make you have to use a Microsoft account. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching.